Okay, so what you're going to need to do for this week's prep is create a 2, 4, or 8 bar loop just using the ES1 synthesizer. So this is due on Friday, so you've got the whole week to do it. Also, we've just finished Unit 25, so you've got a lot of time to do this as well and kind of really work on it and make it good. You need at least 4 tracks, one of them being percussion, another one being bass, another one being lead, and another one of your choosing, or as many as you want extra of your choosing. So for example, what I've got here is I've got this track, which is supposed to be a kick drum, this one, a bass line, this one here is a snare, this one, not sure what it is, let's have a listen. Hi-hat, and then this one is the main sort of chord homophonic lead. Okay, so that's kind of what I've got so far, but I'm just going to introduce you to ES1 now. So when you start a new project, what it'll come up as is this. What I want you to do, software instrument. Obviously before we've been using audio, this time we want to do a software instrument. We can either insert ES1 here, so go ES1 stereo, then OK, create, or we can just choose empty channel strip, which is I think what it does in the earlier versions of Logic, and then create. So if you did the step where you chose ES1 then, don't worry about anything, but if you didn't, this is what you need to do. Click here. What you see down here is ES1. We want to choose stereo. Then this pops up. This is called a software synthesizer. So most synthesizers are hardware, so there's big kind of keyboard things you see. Software synthesizers, that's kind of what's on a computer. Arguably I think they're a bit easier to use and better, but they do have their pros and cons as well, which we'll explore in the future. You can either use a MIDI keyboard in front of you or on your keyboard on the Mac. If you press Command or Apple K, this pops up. And what we've got here is this. You can play your own little melody on your keyboard like that. What we're going to look at now is the synthesizer itself, kind of how to manipulate sounds of it and what we actually need to do. I'm just going to record a little melody. Just using the keyboard here, so I don't know, something like whatever. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag one of these pre-made things in, 2 seconds. Just make it a bit easier. Okay, so there we've got some MIDI information. Please record your own stuff, just ease of use for this video, I've just done it like that. So we're going to open up ES1 now, and just press play, see what happens. Okay, it's a nice little tune going on. So first of all, we're going to look at the ADSR. This is also called the amplitude envelope. So what the attack does, and that stands for attack, decay, sustain, and release. What the attack does, it chooses how sharp the attack of the note is. So if we just have a listen quickly. So what that is, it's the time taken to reach the maximum amplitude of the note. So a very short attack means it attacks straight away like this. A bit like a plucked instrument, but a longer attack, is more slow, perhaps like a wind instrument like this. Next, we're going to look at the decay. And the decay is how long it takes until the sustain level is reached. If we put the sustain level very low, you'll see what I mean here. So let's keep the attack short, and let's play around with the decay now. So that's the decay. The sustain is what level or what amplitude the note is sustained at when you hold down the key. So if we were to put it at full, there's no point really having a decay because the amplitude doesn't go down to anything. So now, theoretically, if we move the decay up and down, nothing will happen. Have a listen. Because the sustain level is still at the maximum amplitude. So if we bring this down a bit, you'll be able to hear what I mean. And the release is how long the note takes to stop sounding after you've released the key. So let's play around with release, see what we can get. And that effect will be amplified if the sustain is right up as well. So have a listen to this. So it's a bit like holding down the sustain pedal on the piano for that release. So once again, ADSR. And from this we can make a lot of different sounds as well. We have the cutoff here. What does the cutoff mean? Well, the cutoff is essentially the high end of the note. So when we were looking at EQ in the last unit, this is essentially a high cut filter. So let's have a look at this. And that's what that does. The resonance, again, how much top end resonance or harmonics it creates. So let's have a listen. You can't really hear it that well in this example, but yeah, it is there. Also, we've got different waveforms. We've got two different oscillators here producing different waveforms. One oscillator is, all it does is produce a waveform. So we can have it on a sawtooth wave, triangular wave, square wave, or we can go across to a pulse wave. Let's have a listen to the differences. So that's a square to a pulse wave. Now a sawtooth wave. Now a triangular wave. And down here are the octaves. So you can have 2, 4, 8, 6, and 32. The bigger the number, the lower the octave. So you might want to change this if you've got a lead. So for example, up here you'd have the lead. Or a bass line, perhaps here. What I've been doing down here with the voices, this is how many notes at once the synthesizer plays. So with 16 notes can play at once. With 1, only 1 note can play at once. For example, even if you put the ADSR up all the way, what about if we do 3? 3 voices will only be heard. What we've got here as well is the glide. This is also known as Portamento on a lot of synthesizers. This is the time it takes to get to the next note. Normally by default it's off, but you'll be able to hear what happens when I change it up a bit. Having it a little bit there makes a more natural sound. Like that. And then if we have a mix of these two oscillators, so say one of these complex waveforms, we can get some interesting effects going on. Also, we can have we can have the waveform white noise there. So for example, like this. And there we've got an effect like a hi-hat. So there are all sorts of sounds that you can create with this. Like in my other project, for example, we can create a lot of other things. Like this. And that's purely through exploration. So you can use this video, use lots of online tutorials as well. If you type into, say, Logic, how to get something sound on ES1, you can use that. You can also, on ES1, there are loads of presets. Synth lead, synth pad, synth bass. If you use the preset, that's fine, but I do expect you to change it as well. So again, what I'm after for this in this prep is a 2-bar loop, sorry, a 2, 4, or 8-bar loop. At least 4 tracks. 1 track has to be percussion, another one bass line, another one lead, another one of your choosing, but I would like to see more than 4 in all honesty. 4 is the minimum, 2 bars is the minimum, but you could do something like 16 tracks, 8-bar loop if you're really going for it. Good, so I look forward to hearing your work on Friday. I'll be there to help you on Wednesday as well. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.